This is Optimal Relationships Daily, episode 298. What I'm Teaching My Son About Money, Part 1, by Mr. Money Mustache of MrMoneyMustache.com. And I'm your host, Joss Marie. Hola, and welcome to the show where I narrate to you every weekday from a variety of different relationship blogs about friendship, dating, marriage, divorce, parenting, you name it. And today I'll be covering a parenting post from Mr. Money Mustache. And this is actually the first time I'm featuring his stuff here on the show, so that's super exciting. But you can also hear Mr. Money Mustache being covered pretty frequently over on Optimal Finance Daily. To find that show, just search for Optimal Finance Daily from wherever you're listening to this one. But for now, let's get to today's post and start optimizing your life. What I'm Teaching My Son About Money, Part 1, by Mr. Money Mustache of MrMoneyMustache.com. I'm not going to lie to you, being wealthy is a lot of fun. And I'm not just talking about novelty fun that you get from driving around in a fancy car. True wealth is more of a big picture thing. Freedom from negative stress and a higher confidence about how great life is. It hits you like a pack of wild butterflies every morning when you wake up. Holy shit, here comes another great day. I want to pass this gift along to my son, if at all possible, because it is truly a great way to live. After all, as parents, we are really in the business of producing the happiest and most capable adults we can, given the constraints of the real world. If my boy eventually ends up as happy with his lot in life as his parents are, we will be more than satisfied. Surely every parent wants the same thing, to pass on their happiness if life is good, or if not, to give their kids a better life than they had. So they do their best to dish out financial advice and to model good behavior for their offspring to emulate. Unfortunately, the results are not always good. In a country where ridiculous is ubiquitous, most people's best attempts at getting ahead are in fact recipes for financial disaster. I get emails from high school and university students telling me, "Dad advised me to finance a reliable new car with four-wheel drive so I can be safe in the winter and spend less on repairs." Other people rack up $200,000 in student loans for an elite degree with few job prospects because their parents cautioned, "You can't get a good job without a degree these days." Still, other families stress over how much to spend on Olympic-caliber toddler birthday parties, how to afford Ivy League preschools, and how to fit in with the other high-income families in their private schools. While any one of these pieces of advice might work fine for a family with infinite money, they have trickled deep down into the middle classes where they become unhelpful for those wanting to truly get ahead. I just read a book called The Opposite of Spoiled by Ron Lieber. While the book was thoughtful and thoroughly researched, I was still fascinated by how much things have changed since I was a kid. There were chapters on how to handle the social pressures of a high-income neighborhood. What do you do when the other kids have nicer stuff than your kids, or vice versa? How do you say no to your kids when they want things that you can't afford for them? How do you handle allowances, jobs, paying for education, mobile phones, cars, and giving to others? All of these perceived social pressures of the wealthy New York style of child raising were unfamiliar to me. It was 3 decades ago in a small town in a different country that I approached my own teenage years, and we followed a much simpler model of family finance back then. Much like the unfrozen caveman lawyer, I found myself wondering, what the hell are these modern people fussing about? Do they really worry about this stuff? It seems to me that if we bring the financial values of a small working-class 1980s town forward to today, life gets a lot simpler for kids, and in the long term, richer. Little Money Mustache and money. In our household, money is an open subject without any attached baggage or taboos. Our 9-year-old knows exactly how money is earned, what happens when you spend it, it's gone, and what happens if you invest it instead. It works for you, for life. Since we retired just before he was born, he has grown up with the idea of financial independence. If you own assets like rental houses or shares of businesses, they provide income, which means you don't have to leave home for 9 hours every day and commute to an office, unless this is your idea of fun. He sees this by comparing the daily routine of his own parents to what other parents do each day. So ever since he has been old enough to have a use for money himself, age 6 or so, I have tried to give him a chance to learn for himself how it works. Making money. Being a kid is quite a lucrative proposition these days. On top of the free rent, he gets occasional cash gifts from relatives and a salary from me that consists of 10 cents for every mile walked or biked as part of family life. These tend to add up in a mostly car-free family, as he already has more than 1,200 miles on the little 20-inch tires of his mountain bike, and we wear through quality shoes before growing out of them. Over the coming years, I'm expecting him to move from these little kid sources of income into more independent ones. Whether he pursues traditional employment or hardcore full entrepreneurship right off the bat is up to him. Some parents like to focus on academics. Until you graduate, getting good grades is your only job. But I like to think of a good education as a highly diverse set of experiences. Working and earning your own money at any age, even if it includes stocking shelves and assembling wheelbarrows at a hardware store, is a key part of this. School is just a tiny part of a kid's education, and not even the most important part. In fact, my most vibrant experiences from high school were side effects of work rather than classes at school. The spreadsheet. This is where things get a bit unconventional. Instead of a physical piggy bank, my boy prefers to keep his money in the bank of Mr. Money Mustache, a spreadsheet that contains every transaction he makes with money. To make a deposit, he just hands me some cash. To withdraw, he asks me for cash or has me buy something for him online. But for every dollar that remains in the account, he accrues interest at a 10% annual rate with monthly compounding. I'm excited about the teaching value of this because it shows him that 1. His money is finite, not just a limitless pool that you tap by nagging parents to buy you stuff. 2. Keeping the money invested is profitable. His $600 account is now bringing in a very tangible $5 per month in interest. And 3. New windfalls can be added, interest compounds exponentially, and an account like this of sufficient size means lifelong financial freedom. Where the money goes. Hear that in tomorrow's episode. You just listened to part 1 of the post titled, What I'm Teaching My Son About Money by Mr. Money Mustache of MrMoneyMustache.com. And real quick before I wrap up, I just want to give a shout out to my husband Lee for incorporating some financial-based parenting posts into the mix. I find them super valuable and hope you do too. But that's actually all I've got for you today. Thanks so much for joining me here, and hopefully I'll see you again tomorrow for part 2 of Mr. Money Mustache's post, where your optimal life awaits.
Hello, Life Optimizer. This is Justin Malik, creator and producer of this podcast, but also Optimal Living Daily, the show where I read to you from even more blogs covering finance, productivity, minimalism, personal development, and more from incredible bloggers like Derek Sivers, Zen Habits, Mark and Angel, The Minimalists, and all the ones you hear on this show too. So if you enjoyed today's episode and like taking amazing blogs on the go, come on over to Optimal Living Daily and subscribe to that one too. And together, we'll start optimizing your life.
You've been listening to Optimal Living Daily. Be sure to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date on each new episode and head to oldpodcast.com. That's OLDpodcast.com for a free gift as well as more actionable tips and resources to help you maximize your potential. Thanks for joining us, and remember, your optimal life awaits.